Welcome to our very first episode of the show, What on Earth. This is your host, Nightwolf. And we do appreciate you stopping by and listening to some truths or truths. This is all about truth. So help us God. That's what this channel is going to be about. Is giving you guys research. Will be my job is to research, dive deep into the rabbit hole, and give you the truth. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, please. And that way you don't miss any upcoming episodes. We will be having one each week. So once a week, we will have a show. And go ahead and click the thumbs up button, or give it a thumbs up while you're here listening. Nightwolf would appreciate that very much. So basically a quick version of what this show is about. We're here to provide you with the truth on things that have happened, are happening, and will happen. And any topic you feel you want me to do the homework, do my research, get to the bottom of it, just go ahead and send me an email, which will be posted in the description. Or you can just go ahead and comment below a topic you want me to do my legwork for you, and I'll be more than happy to do so. And I am some people call me a perfectionist because I'm all about perfecting the details. So yes, I'm very detailed, and I look for the little crumbs that are not visible. And that's how I get the truth. So I will do what I can within my power to get to the truth for you. So welcome to the show. So today's show, our first episode, I want to discuss with you guys a project that the Air Force took on between the years 1947 and 1969. Probably most of you have heard of it already because it's been out there. There's even been a TV series. You've probably seen the TV series about it. But there's some that have no idea or have never heard of it. So that's what the show's about. I want to relay that information of the truth about this show's going to be about what has happened. So the truth of what has happened. And this cannot be hid anymore. It was hidden from us for a little bit, for a while, for a long time, for a few years, until people, as myself, are seeking the truth. And we all know that there's the Freedom of Information Act. So it gets to a point where they have to release information just to keep us on our toes, just to keep us balanced. There's a balance. So I want to share with you guys a quote that I heard Morgan Freeman, of all people, Morgan Freeman. A lot of respect for him, but I can't quite picture or point which movie or which document series or TV series I heard him say this, but he did say this. And here's the quote. And this is a quote that you probably hear me say a lot because it's 100% on point to what has been going on, is going on, and will be going on. Definitely. So he said, "Stupid is knowing the truth, seeing the truth, but still believing the lies." So basically Morgan Freeman said, you're kind of stupid if you see that you know the truth, you are seeing the truth with your own eyes, but yet you want to go ahead and believe the lies that they're telling you or that they're portraying to hide the truth. So I quite listened to that quote, and I quite thought about it, and I was like, man, that's a great quote because it's so true. A lot of us want to know the truth. We want to see the truth, but we want to stay in our head with the little lie that they give us, the lies. So we continue our daily routine believing the lies, which that's not what this show's about. This show's about knowing the truth, seeing the truth, and believing the truth. Okay? So today's topic, for today's first show, our first show topic is going to be one that gets a lot of attention. You know, because I'm sure you seen it in the news recently. It's been all over the media and a lot of articles written about it. I think the New York Times did a magnificent article on it. So if you get a chance, read that article. There's a lot of information in there. Um, and they released footages, testimonials of Navy air pilots. Okay, and we all know this acronym and what everybody calls it: UFO, unidentified flying objects. Now, when we talk about the subject of UFO, it's hard to understand what exactly that means. So they label it unidentified. Now, when they say unidentified, it means that to the human eyes or to our human knowledge, we're not capable of identifying what it is. To our eyes, to our wisdom, to our knowledge about it. So here you have, okay, this project that was called Project Blue Book, which was headed up by the Air Force, okay, from 1947 to 1969. They investigated unidentified flying objects. The project was headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force in Dayton, Ohio, and the base, okay? And it lasted until December 17, 1969, when it was terminated or shut down. During this time, the project was active, and while it was active, they even went ahead and brought in a civilian, an American astronomer, by the name of Dr. Hynek, or Joseph Allen Hynek. So you guys can do your research on him. Okay, this guy was an American astronomer, based on science and so forth. And they brought this guy in, and I believe they brought this guy in because they had so many reports and going on of these UFOs that they needed to bring some guy from the outside, not related to the government, to try to debunk all these reportings. So let me give you a fact here, and this is a truth, and I grabbed this from the Air Force. Actual resource for this is the Air Force. During the time of Project Blue Book, between the Air Force and Dr. Hynek's research, there was a total of 12,618 sightings that were reported to Project Blue Book at the time. And out of those sightings, 701 remained, quote unquote, unidentified. 701. Okay? We're talking about 22 years of research and reports. And the conclusion to those reports or those sightings or those witnesses or investigations were, quote unquote, unidentified. So we get to the nitty gritty here, where you have, in present day and time, you have Air Force pilots, or actually naval pilots, U.S. naval pilots, coming out with testimonies, and the Pentagon releasing certain footage, the only ones they want you to see, realistically, because they're not going to release everything. So basically, they're giving you little breadcrumbs, just so you can stay quiet and keep calm. But at the end of the day, the truth cannot be hidden. The truth will always come out. So we have these pilots. Now, if you do your homework, okay, you got to understand what the process is to become a fighter pilot. And if you see the lengthy process that becomes, we're talking about a series of tests, psychological, vision, hearing, you name it, before these pilots get into a $300 million plane. One of them costs about $300 million to make back in the days. I think the F-16s, so forth. To become a fighter pilot, get into a $300 million taxpayer plane built, go up in the sky, travel at great speeds with missiles and weaponized. The plane is weaponized. That's why they're called fighter jets. So these pilots are coming out now after so long of being held in silence, and they're coming out now with their testimonies of what they saw in the sky. And if you listen to these testimonies, which we'll probably do in another episode, I want to get into that a little deeper and listen to some of these testimonies. You'll see that is their word against the government's word. Okay? Now, you're talking about seeing an object that flies faster than your jet, moves in directions that your jet cannot comprehend or maneuvers, and at speeds that are just unexplainable. So what does that tell you? What does that tell me? That tells me there's something out there that is not from Earth origin, okay? Not from this planet, that is visiting us, or which I think they are coming. They've been coming for a long time. Because there's no way in the world that we could be the only planet with life form existing. It just does not make, for me, in my mind, I cannot comprehend all that space in the universe. Like they said, it's infinite. The universe is so big that we are the only life forms out there. It mind boggles me for someone to think that we are the only source of life that was created on this planet. Whether you call it God, whether you call it creator, whether you call energy source, whatever your belief is, something created us. We were created. You cannot tell me, I just don't comprehend how the Big Bang Theory is so still, people believe the Big Bang Theory. So basically, an explosion in the universe caused everything to align perfectly. Okay? When have you ever heard of an explosion that everything goes perfectly? Not one explosion. Every explosion causes chaos, utter chaos. There's no order. So I do believe in God. My faith is of God, and that's what I call him, God. But I don't think God is a human being per se. For me, God is like an entity of a strong energy source that has ability to create life and take life away. And if he created us, why would it not be possible for him? Because supposedly God is all powerful, right? All knowledgeable, all powerful. So if he created us, why couldn't he have created life in another planet? Who's going to stop him? Right? So one thing you got to take away that Jesus said to Pontius Pilate, and this made a lot of sense to me. And if you're of the faith, Jesus tells Pontius Pilate, "My kingdom is not of this world." What world is he talking about? Because to us, the only world we know is planet Earth. But he says, if we were in my kingdom, my servants would be rescuing me right now. That's what he tells Pontius Pilate, right before Pontius Pilate washes his hand to crucify him. So, all right. So let's get back to Project Blue Book and the facts here. I'm gonna put a picture up here for you guys to see momentarily that I found. It's some lights in the sky. The photograph is from 1952, so it's going to be black and white, but it was over a Coast Guard air station in Salem, Massachusetts. Okay, and this is part of the Project Blue Book archive. So I want you guys to take a look at that and come to your conclusions. Comment below on what you think is in that picture, what your explanation is. Now, the Project Blue Book was discontinued. Okay, the investigations for UFO were discontinued based on an evaluation of a report prepared by the University of Colorado entitled Scientific Study of Unidentified Flying Objects, a review of the University of Colorado's report by the National Academy of Sciences. Okay? Previous UFO studies and Air Force experience investigating UFO reports during 1940 to 1969. Now, I want to stop right there. 1940. They say it started in 1940, but I think if you look at paintings from way in the 1800s, okay, Look at artists, some paintings. You're gonna see there's some paintings that the artist decided to draw a little flying saucer in his artwork. Why is that? Where did they get that idea from to draw that in their painting? So I'm sure you'll find some paintings if you research and Google. You'll find some paintings back in the 1800s or before the Renaissance age and so forth, and you'll see some paintings with the artist putting some type of UFO in the sky or something in the sky of wonder. So, and if you read Ezekiel in the Bible, he has some visions of could only conclusion if you do the homework on it and try to figure out what he saw. His visions, he says it's like a UFO related. So even in the Bible, you'll find it in Ezekiel. Okay, so then they decided to discontinue because of an evaluation from the National Academy of Sciences. All right, as a result of these investigations and studies and experiences gained from the investigating the UFO reports, the conclusions of Project Blue Book were, quote unquote, here it is. This is straight from the UFO, straight from the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Air Force. No UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force was ever an indication of threat to our national security. So this is one of the things that you're seeing now in the media. These UFO, quote unquote, experts from the government are saying that it's a threat to national security because we don't understand their capabilities. But we do understand, and you're going to see some more shows about that because we do know that they know. They're just keeping it a secret, and why they want to keep it a secret and that knowledge secret, not to the public, made to the public, because it's called one word: power. Knowledge is power. So they got you distracted with technology, and they got you distracted with a lot of other things going on because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to research. They don't want you to have that knowledge or discover what they've been hiding. So there's so many episodes coming up. I got so many topics that we're going to get into. Antarctica, there's a lot of things going on, and I just want to share that with you guys. So I'm going to put up some pictures. We're going to go into that 1952 picture over the Coast Guard Air Station there. Then I'm also going to try to put a link to a video, or try to put the video in here within my screen of directly from the National Archives. It's an interview with a general from the Air Force and a major, and you just have to listen to the very end of that interview. If you don't, it's a 5-minute interview, but it came from the National Archives, so it's from the Department of Defense. It's there in the public for you to see, for you to watch and listen. This is an actual interview that took place. Just listen to the end of what the major says at the end.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States. In pursuit of this obligation, since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1,000 and 2,000 reports that have come to us from all kinds of sources. Of this great mass of reports, we have been able adequately to explain the great bulk of them, explain them to our own satisfaction. We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena or as light aberrations. However, there have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve. Our basic difficulty in dealing with these is that there is no measurement of them that makes it possible for us to put them in any pattern that would be profitable for a deliberate, custom sort of analysis to take the next step. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion with respect to this remaining percentage, and that is that it does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate with to any conceivable threat to the United States. Is that? We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any department of the United States. We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
Watch me for the signal there, sir, to start.
I'll start when you throw it down.
Wait a minute, hold it, boys. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Major Keyhole, as author of the book Flying Saucers Are Real, what is your opinion of these new sightings of unidentified objects?
With all due respect to the Air Force, I believe that some of them will prove to be of interplanetary origin. During a 3-year investigation, I found that many pilots have described objects of substance and high speed. One case, pilots reported their plane was buffeted by an object which passed them at 500 miles an hour. Obviously, this was a solid object, and I believe it was from outer space.
So basically, that's it. That's today's topic, folks, for the show. Let me see here in my notes if I'm missing anything to relate to you folks here. Just basically, clearly these government agencies, if you notice, they continue to have some level of involvement in UFO investigations. The latest one that we came across was ATIP from the Pentagon and Luis Elizondo. So we'll be talking about that too. That's another topic we'll get into, ATIP. And, in the decades following and to the present, despite government statements to the contrary, one, secret official documents include detailed reports of dramatic UFO events abroad. It's coming out. It's coming out. The truth starts to come out little by little. And there's an event that happened in 2006 also that we'll get into. I'm going to research that. It was supposedly a disc-shaped object. There was a lot of witnesses. It happened in Chicago O'Hare Airport. So we're talking, the crew on the floor, on the ground, the mechanics, the people in the tower, the pilots, a lot of witnesses. And they all say the same thing. It was a disc-shaped object that hovered over the airport for no more than 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. That's when you look at your clock. 5 minutes is pretty long for something that's in the air. And then it shot straight up through the clouds at an incredible speed. So that's something that happened in 2006, and we'll get into that deeper. So I want to thank you for today, for joining in, tuning in, listening to my first episode with me, your host, Night Wolf. So thank you. God bless. Stay safe. Any comments below will be highly appreciated. Any topics you want me to look into, let's do it. Let's roll with it. That's what I'm here for. What on Earth, signing out. Night Wolf.